Hey, my creative friends, Shannon from Shannon Studio. And we're here to talk creativity tonight. Well, probably day in America for you and night for us. And we just got home a few minutes ago, well, not a few minutes ago, but a half hour ago, from our congregation's Christmas party. Yes, we had our Christmas party tonight. And so it's our first Christmas in Sweden, and it's just a teeny bit different, just little things that are different. But I was in charge of desserts for the party tonight. So my tip's gonna come from that. But what happened was it was a little bit different than what we do in the States. And I think the first counselor in our Relief Society presidency, she was in charge of, I think, the whole thing. And we split up, and she got mostly all the work, and I got just the desserts. I got the fun part. Well, it just depends on who you are. But I had desserts, and somebody was going to help me do that. But then her mother ended up in the hospital sick, and so she wasn't able to help. So, hi, Trisha. Hey. So I could have gotten on the phone and tried to call people, but, still new here, and I don't know who that would be a burden for to drop that on them the last minute. And we didn't have a church day in between to have people sign up. So I just decided to do it myself. And this is the reason. I'm trying to put my thing back on. So this is the reason. Because I like to challenge myself. And part of creativity is challenging yourself. It's taking the time to make yourself do hard things. I mean, not like it's going to kill you hard things, but things that are a little bit, maybe you've wanted to try, maybe, and I'm going to put some pictures up of the desserts. What are the desserts I wanted to try where, they pile all the stuff on top of the cake and it's all fun and cute? Well, this was our nice try to that cake. But Joseph had a great time decorating. And, it was the last one we did of the day, and he'd been waiting all day because he saw all the candies and the suckers and all this stuff, and he was so excited. And I wanted to do it like my way, but I thought, he is loving this experience. So the cake is fine. It was fine. Nobody else thought anything. They all thought it was great, but it was I didn't really try like I wanted to try, but I was so tickled that I got to see him so excited, placing things and just talking about it and just being able to tell people that he did it. It was he's such a cutie. But challenge yourself. So sometimes I just want to see what I can do. Can I do this? Can I, and not everybody likes to do that, but I think once in a while you have to venture. You have to venture to see what you're made of, and that's kind of what it was like today. And really, it was different because I do all kinds of stuff before in America, but here I didn't know what. Well, first off, I can't read any of the dang packaging. Everything's in Swedish, not even Swedish and English, but just straight Swedish, so I'm going around with my phone. The ingredients are different, baking's different, everything is different. So it was outside of my comfort zone to do this. But it was a great challenge for me to do. And I don't mind a challenge, and if I fail, it's if I can't do it, I can't do it. That just, when you are creative and you challenge yourself, you open yourself up to the risk that you are going to fail. And sometimes it just doesn't come together. It just doesn't play out well. And you have to be comfortable with people seeing you fail, not put out, not perform to your, to what you wanted to have happen. And because if you're not ever comfortable with that, with people seeing you do poorly, then you're never going to try anything. You're never going to try anything new or different or out there. You're never going to push yourself. And so you have to get comfortable with that. So since I was doing this, there's several things that went on in the last 2 days where I was thinking about. Well, one was the food. and the whole situation, to learn and to not overextend yourself, and not try, like in a new country, I'm not trying to do what I always do, because nothing's quite the same. But here's some tips. I'm going to tell you some tips that I remember, or when I was doing this, wrote down. So determine what you're going to make. Determine when you are in charge of all of it. Like I was in charge of all the desserts. I had to pick the foods, some of the foods that I could make the day before, some of the foods that, that I didn't make all of them, that had to be put together within the last hour. So you have to kind of determine, oh, okay, I have so many days, I can do this ahead, I can do this ahead, so I'll pick these recipes to do. So kind of, understand what your time frame is, and kind of stagger the amount of work for the days. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to see, did I make that? Okay, next thing that I did was I actually physically laid out on the table all the ingredients for certain things and put them in certain piles. So that way, because when you're out buying and you buy 7 things of cream or 3 things of cream cheese, it's not, it's like all of a sudden, do I have everything? So I actually physically lay out everything for the Twix pie, lay out everything for the orange pie, the pink, fun topped cake. And so I laid it all out, so then I can see what did I miss, any ingredients, to make sure I have enough. So, and with that, then make sure you get a little extra on some of the staples. For instance, in the middle of the night, I miscalculated, because I stayed up last night working on stuff, and I miscalculated, and I put too much water in with the powdered sugar. And if you've ever worked with powdered sugar, it does not take much, and that stuff is runny. And I kept using, adding more powdered sugar, and I ran out of powdered sugar. Now, one thing, if I were not as sleep deprived as I was, I probably would have realized, oh, cut the frosting in half and add more powdered sugar just to that half. But no, because you listen to that video about know your sleep needs. I was too tired and didn't come up with that solution until after I had rested. And then it was like, oh yeah, I could have just done that. So I have extra things on hand, so that when you make a mistake, you don't want to go out in the middle of the night to get something. So let's see. Oh, after you set everything up on the table, then set up the serving dish with it, to see that you have enough serving dishes, enough sizes, the different sizes, because sometimes you might have to play around with it. And then also I had to take into consideration, the stuff was traveling somewhere. It wasn't going to be at my house. So, can this travel? How does this travel? That sort of thing. So put the serving dishes out. Then, tell the family what food's off limit. Because I had these little strawberries I was going to slice up and put on the things. And then Joseph comes out and he goes, those were such great strawberries. They were so juicy. And I just thought, not going back to the store for that. And he didn't know. He usually can eat whatever he wants in there. So tell your family which things are off limits. Let's see. Oh, if you're going to try a new dish, I say try it. Because sometimes we'll try things because it's a special occasion, or because we have some extra motivation that we didn't seem to have before. So you can try a new dish, but just make sure you don't try all the dishes that are new. Keep with things that you can put out and do well, and then throw in 1 or 2 that you are gonna try. Like the cake topping that we did with all those candies and stuff. I've never done that before. It just it looked like in the night, as the night went along, that the sucker started to tip. So, and I'll know next time, and I can address that. But if I did all my cakes like that, that might have been a problem. But everything, that was just a small thing, and you learn from it as you go. And then consider which foods are cold. So like if you have a lot of whipped cream dishes that have to go in the fridge, you've got to make sure you have room for that. And then, hot things, if you've got any cobblers or anything that you want to serve warm, that you have a way to keep them warm while you're traveling. So all those kind of things too, that you want that you want to consider. So those are just some tips that I thought, well, I'm in the middle of this. I might as well be thinking of the things that I did wrong or that I, forgot to do, so that you can maybe learn something about putting on like food. And I'm going to share some of the different experiences that I have that are creative experiences that are just kind of part of life that you might learn from, and you might share some ideas that you've done as well. So we can continue to learn together, continue to see how we can make have our lifestyles be creative. And let's see, I think that's it. And I'm gonna go straight to bed. But I'll put up some pictures probably tomorrow, and yeah, it was a good time. I think people enjoyed themselves, and I enjoyed myself, and I was happy to try out that challenge and see, and that's part of being creative, to do that to yourself, to actually push yourself to be creative. So remember, you have a creative heartbeat, so listen for it, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye.